don't post. Usually I don't post, but I want the world to know. Time to pull a drop top out. Summer nights, it's a vibe, yeah. We've been keeping it in the house. Netflix and chillin', I GDM'in', yeah. Didn't wanna share my love till I found someone I'm sure of. Young and untamed, I've been out of range, keeping it low, but I wanna be bold with it. Don't care who we told about it. Wow, baby, got a hold on it. Let love unfold tonight. They'll be calling us gold. No lies, so fair with it. You can let them stare at it. Now I'm prepared for it. Instead of love out loud, since we ain't going nowhere. So tonight, I don't post. Usually I don't post, but I want the world to know. I'm a good catch, but I never let him catch me. No, I never let him claim me. Wild thing try to tame me, but you got my mood on sunshine. Let's take a trip, souls on big smile. Let's hit this lake, stars are in line. I'm posted, lay with me in the moonlight. I wanna be bold with it. Tonight they'll be calling us gold. No lies, so bear with it. Yeah, we can let them stare at it. Now I'm prepared for it. Instead of love out loud, since we ain't going nowhere. So tonight, baby, meet me. Time is right, so right. Our romance to be. Can't deny. I love the things we do.
Saturday. As you can see, I'm sitting in my car, enjoying some quiet time. The kids went to an Easter egg hunt with their daddy, and I am just enjoying a quiet moment. Okay, the dogs are at home, and I didn't have any breakfast. We're out of eggs. We're out of milk. We don't have avocado. So all the things I wanted to make for myself, like waffles or avocado toast or even a little egg sandwich, can't do it. That was them calling me. But I got a coffee and I got a muffin, so I'm just gonna sit here for a few minutes. I did tell them we were gonna go skating. We're gonna meet Toya at the City Walk skating rink and skate a little bit. They're gonna skate, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna try. If it's not too crowded. I hope it's not a lot of people out there. But went to spin class this morning with Toya. It was pretty good. I didn't burn a lot of calories. It was a 30-minute class. I'm not mad about the calorie burn. It was a good session though. I would go back again if the gym wasn't so far. So maybe it could be something I could do on the weekends, like drop in or something. I don't know. But we'll see. But I just wanted to say hi and happy Saturday. And welcome back to another video. Alright, y'all. I'm about to try to skate again. Say your prayers. Fingers crossed. These are my nails, guys.
T T T T T T T T T T T T T See my conscience, yeah, my conscience. Mind free, me know them, you know want it. No weapon formed against me, no nonsense. Spirit clean, so we move so flawless. Them not want it, yeah, they not want it. But Jah got me through the storm, that they're not haunted. Every step better, no blessing me, I count it. Me no lose face, cause them can't shine it. Look they on me, show me set them on flame. Everything ahead, me not miss aim. Talk hype on me name, but them not in the same lane. Me elevate quick, them still fight for fame. Pressure make diamond, me born for rain. Them want copy style, but ain't not the same. My spirit so pure, can't trap me frame. Them not want it, but me still remain. See my conscience, yeah, my conscience. Mind free, me know them, they don't want it. No weapon formed against me, no nonsense. Spirit clean, so we move so flawless. Them not want it, yeah, they don't want it. But Jah got me through the storm, that they're not haunted. Every step better, no blessing me, I count it. Me no lose face, cause them can't shine it. See my conscience, yeah, my conscience. Mind free, me know them, they don't want it. No weapon formed against me, no nonsense. Spirit clean, so we move so flawless. T T T T T T T T T See my conscience, yeah, my conscience. Mind free, me know them, they don't want it. No weapon formed against me, no nonsense. Spirit clean, so we move so flawless. Them not want it, yeah, they don't want it. But Jah got me through the storm, that they're not haunted. Every step I turn up, blessing me, I count it. Me no lose, me can't shine it. See my conscience, yeah, my conscience. T T T T T T T T See my conscience, yeah, my conscience. Mind free, me know them, they don't want it. No weapon formed against me, no nonsense. Spirit clean, so we move so flawless. Them not want it, yeah, they don't want it. But Jah got me through the storm, that they're not haunted. Every step better, no blessing me, I count it. Me no lose face, cause them can't shine it. Look they on me, show me set them on flame. Everything ahead, me not miss aim. Talk hype on me name, but them not in the same lane. Me elevate quick, them still fight for fame. Pressure make diamond, me born for rain. Them want copy style, but ain't not the same. My spirit so pure, can't trap me frame. Them not want it, but me still remain. See my conscience, yeah, my conscience.
Hey guys, happy Sunday. Welcome back to another video. Alright, I am here at the park, about to get in some steps. Ooh, my nose is itching, and I took a Zyrtec, so I don't know what this is about. But yeah, I'm trying to get 10,000 steps daily. I'm at 6,000 something right now. So I'm about to try to get in a couple of more, maybe like a mile or two, so I can hit my 10K for the day. And I'll bring y'all along. Nothing else has been going on today. Toya's coming with me. So let's get to it. Happy Tuesday. Happy terrific Tuesday. I'm back in the kitchen. I'm always in the kitchen. The lighting is so much better in here. Came home from work and had my lunch, which was ground beef, sweet potato, broccoli, and I did sprinkle a little bit of cheese, just like a pinch. And then I'm having protein shake. This is the Just Move protein supplement. This is the salted caramel. It says add salt to activate, but let's see. I didn't put any salt in here. I'm gonna sprinkle just a little bit. It's good without it, honestly, because I've been drinking it without putting salt in it this whole time. But I needed something sweet. So I'm trying to cure my sweet tooth. Let's see. It does taste better with the salt. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And it only has 114 calories, 4 grams of fat, 20 grams of protein, no cholesterol. It has 100 milligrams of sodium, but it's Himalayan pink salt in there, so that makes sense. I hope that everybody has been having a great week so far. My week has been work, and it's only Tuesday. Work has been awful, to say the least. I'm feeling a little bit of burnout, and I'm just, if I could be transparent for a moment without spilling too much tea, I am feeling overwhelmed. Just with life. Like, to me, it always feels like it's one thing after another. And not one good thing after another. I'm ready for the one good thing after another. Like, so much good that I can't contain it. Like, it just spills out of me into other people. I'm ready for that. Because right now, it's just not that. It's not hidden. Life just ain't hidden like it's supposed to. And I know that in life, you're going to go through stuff. You're going to go through trials and tribulations. But I just feel like it's one punch after the other. Once I take care of this issue, or we take care of this issue, it's another issue. Like, so I, look for signs and stuff, to be like, hey, everything's gonna be okay. And I ain't seen one. So grateful to be alive, grateful for health and strength, grateful for all of the things, but I need a break. So if life could just stop punching on us, that would be great. Nothing too crazy is going on. I just wanted to come and say hi. I don't think I've talked all week, and I worked out my hamstrings, and I'm still sore, like 2 days ago, and they're super sore. So we're still doing a 30 for 30 challenge, but it's where you do 1 mile a day for 30 days. It helps you get 10,000 steps a day. That's supposed to be the magic number. I like to get 10K or more steps a day. That just means I've been moving my body and I've been active. Like, I haven't been sitting still all day, and I've been doing that since we started this challenge. I've been hitting 10K steps a day because I've been purposely parking further back in the parking deck, so I have to walk a longer way to get to the building. On my breaks at work, I'll come out and I'll walk the parking lot. So I could, if I walk the parking lot twice, that's a mile. Yeah. So challenge going strong. It's not too late to join us. If you want to, you can start whenever you see this video, or whenever, if you want to just walk a mile a day for 30 days. They say it takes 21 days to build a habit. So I feel like if you go ahead and get started now, by the time summer hits, it'll be an everyday thing for you. All right, y'all. I let my husband have the kitchen because he was cooking him some lunch. But I'm going to end the video here. I think I'm gonna do a week of workouts for my next video. I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna start recording that content this week as well. Just, you know, switch it up a little bit. I also have some hauls I want to do, so if you're into that sort of thing, let me know. You know, maybe like beauty hauls, because I did get some. It's not new makeup, but it's just a replacement of stuff I already use, because I don't switch up my products that often. Like, once I find something that works, I keep it, you know. But I do have some things that I got sent to me from TikTok, and I could definitely show those, or you can come follow me over there. But either way, I'm about to go take something for my head, because my head has started hurting, and I know it's stress. But I appreciate y'all so much for being on this journey with me and allowing me to be as transparent as I am. I know the last couple of videos have had kind of like a Debbie Downer tone, and I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but like I said, I was just frustrated with the amount of work that I'm putting into my videos versus the output or the reception that I receive when it's posted. And that's fine. Like, we're past that. And then today's video, well, this section of today's video, I'm human. Every day's not gonna be a good day, and I'm not that type of girl that's gonna get on here in front like everything's all good, because it's not. You know, I definitely have some good days. I have some great days, and you guys get to see that. And although I don't go into detail about what's not so good about the not so good days, just know that they happen, and yesterday and today was one of them. I had some good moments in both of these days, but like, life is really just, faith is being tested. Okay, let's just say that being tested, baby. So pray for me, I'll pray for you, and until the next time, bye.